I'm gonna teach you how to fall from a handstand safely. I'm Dr. Anthony Davis. There are a lot of fun ways that we can fall out of a handstand. A lot of fun ways that don't hurt, that don't injure you. So let's skip all the flailing around and let's break this down nice and easily. So the most common thing that happens is that when you get here, your feet go over your head, and then your feet just want to go all the way over your head so that you land in a wheel. Well, that's an insanely difficult and unnecessary landing. Not to mention, it's pretty difficult on your lower back to do that. Also, it really forces your wrist joints into hyperextension, so you're more likely to get some kind of pinching injury to your wrist. So before you start doing handstands with your feet all the way over your head, and we're starting to get into that position, let's make sure that we can do cartwheels. So before we even get to cartwheels though, we can take one hand to the mat, and then imagine that we're doing a cartwheel. Take the other hand to the mat, and then take one leg up just a little bit. We're not gonna do a full cartwheel, and then just skip over, right? And we could do that back and forth. So we just go here and across, here and across, right? So this might remind you of some things that we do in sort of movement culture, or Ido Portal likes to do this kind of thing. So that's step one, is just get used to going sideways. And then eventually we can get the legs higher and higher, and eventually we want to actually do a cartwheel. Might as well get used to doing them in both directions, because that's kind of how we're going to bail. This is the most common way to bail from a handstand, is that we get in the handstand and then we just want to bail to the side. So how that's going to look is that I get up into a handstand, I overdo it, oh no, and then I just go off to the side, right? That's a way easier way to bail. So we can just practice this intentionally, like I'm gonna bail to the side. So, okay, we jump up, and then I wanna bail off to the side. And you can just practice that over and over again, and you might as well practice going to both sides. So that's one way that you can safely fall from a handstand, is to just step off to the side. But I'm going to show you another way that you can safely fall from a handstand that's a lot more fun, and I know how to do this because of my training from Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So now we're going to learn how to roll. Well, you can roll out of a handstand, but first you got to roll from a somersault position. So we basically get into this tabletop position. We do that, thread the needle until the shoulder is on the floor. Get your head out of the way by tucking your chin. I'll show you on the other way, in the other direction. So I thread the needle, I get my shoulder firmly on the floor, I tuck my chin, and then I'm not rolling on my neck. I'm rolling entirely on my shoulder. There's no weight on my head, but I'm gonna put my butt up into the air and just roll. So as we do a somersault, there should be no weight on the head whatsoever. So it should look like I'm going sideways over here, and there we are. And I can also go backwards. So we do this in jiu-jitsu all the time, where we're going back and forth, and there's no weight on the head whatsoever. So you're getting used to rolling on the shoulder entirely. And then we can step it up, where we add more of a dynamic entrance. By the way, please do this on a mat or on a soft floor or some grass to practice, because it definitely roughens up the shoulders if you do it on something like concrete or hardwood floor. So have a good padding. Once we're used to it, then we can kind of crouch, and instead of going from our knees and softly going into it, we kind of crouch, and then we kind of half dive into it, right? So we can set up here and do the other side. Right? So no weight on the head whatsoever. Obviously, the next step is that we got to do it from standing, because we're going to do it from a handstand, and that's a lot of weight to come crashing down. If you can't roll this way, from the knees and then from a slightly lifted position, then if you try to roll out of a handstand, you're going to have a really bad time. So you got to be really confident that you're rolling entirely on your shoulders, that your head is not going to touch the floor. But eventually we can go from standing. So I'm standing here, and again, I'm just going to tuck and roll, right? Again, so the arm leads the movement. So I'm going here. I'm going to roll in a diagonal. So I'm reaching back towards my own opposite foot and past it as I dive down. And I do have to get some momentum so that I can just roll right through it. So here we go again. I tuck and I roll. Okay, I'll show you one more time. I tuck and I roll, right? And my other hand was supporting me, so I touched the ground, right? Just like I was in a handstand. So when we're in a handstand and we try to do this, I'm gonna be right here. I'm gonna lift that arm, tuck, and roll. And notice that this hand supported me on my way up as well, right? So that I can roll out of it and keep going. Please take your time practicing this over many, many weeks and even months, because this is a pretty advanced rolling maneuver. If you have some kind of mats to practice this on, that would be ideal. But when you're ready, we can do this from a handstand. So at first, we want to do this with only a little hop and then a roll. So we'll try to get the butt up, and then we're gonna roll. So you just watch me do it first. So I'm gonna jump up and then roll, right? Now it's better if I can really get my hips over my head, so I'm actually balancing for a second. So I lift up and then I roll out of it. And that is one way that we can bail from a handstand. Again, if we're not used to it, then you're definitely gonna wanna take the option of just stepping to the side instead of rolling, because rolling out can be quite a difficult activity. But I'll just show you one more time, this time properly from handstand. So if I can lift up and kick my legs up here, now I'm going to tuck and roll, right? So I lied before about saying that I'm gonna take my hand off. Really, I'm gonna do partially a push-up and then tuck my head and shoulders and then roll from there. So it's not really a lifting and tucking. I misspoke before. So just remember again that you always have the option to lift up here and then just bail to the side, and that's a lot easier than that roll. Stay safe, take it slow, have fun, move your body every single day. I'm Dr. Anthony Davis. Movement is medicine, motion is lotion. So get out there and move your body every single day.